The 2025 Weibo TV and Internet Video Summit was supposed to be a night of celebration. Stars glittered under the bright lights, fans cheered with unrestrained excitement, and every camera angle was meticulously planned to capture perfection. But behind the polished smiles and flawless performances, something much deeper, more raw, and far more compelling was unfolding. Something the cameras tried desperately to hide. Wang sat there, poised in his tailored suit, the picture of professionalism. His smile was in place. Polished, effortless, perfect for the cameras. Yet, in the fraction of a second no one seemed to notice, that smile faltered. Just for a heartbeat. And in that falter, the world could have glimpsed everything that had been unsaid between him and Shen Yue. Shen Yue, meanwhile, moved across the stage with grace and confidence, accepting her award with the kind of charm that had captivated audiences for years. Her laughter rang out, polite and bright, but her eyes, those familiar, deep, expressive eyes, carried a subtle tension. A tension that was invisible to the cheering crowd but palpable to anyone who had been watching her story unfold over the years. To anyone outside, this was simply another award ceremony. Another night of glimmering lights and perfect photographs. But for Dylan and Shen Yue, it was a moment that carried years of history, layered with memory, longing, and unspoken emotion. It began with that forced smile. The kind of smile someone wears when the world expects it, when fans demand it, when the spotlight leaves no room for real feeling. It was there for the cameras, for the applause, for the facade. But beneath it, the weight of what could not be expressed pressed down. Years of connection, fragments of love and loss, quiet regrets, and moments they had both tried to forget. Shen Yue's eyes caught his just for a second. A fleeting glance that froze time. And in that glance, Dylan's composure almost shattered. No one could see it. No one could understand the emotions that flashed across his face before he carefully reset the mask he wore so well. Fans quickly noticed the clip online. Within hours, it was being shared, analyzed, and dissected. Comments flooded in, questioning the sincerity of that smile. Was it happiness or regret? Was he proud, or was it something else entirely? Social media exploded with speculation. Some suggested Dylan was uncomfortable seeing Shen Yue succeed. Others believed he was genuinely happy for her but trapped by his own unresolved feelings. The truth was far more complicated, far more human. Because what the cameras didn't capture was the story behind that smile. The silent dialogue, the unspoken tension, and the subtle electricity between them that had never disappeared. For years, Dylan and Shen Yue had shared moments that were private, delicate, and fleeting. Glances backstage, lingering conversations off camera. The kind of closeness that never made headlines but always existed in the spaces in between. They had been partners in countless projects, co-stars whose chemistry was undeniable, yet always complicated by fame, public expectation, and circumstance. Tonight, as Shen Yue accepted her award, Dylan's eyes weren't on the ceremony. They were on her. Not in the way of a casual observer, but in the way someone looks at a story they've loved but can never fully be part of. Every step she took across the stage, every smile she offered the audience, every polite bow she made, he noticed it all. And yet, he could not reach her. Not today. Not here. Not in front of thousands of cameras and millions of fans. The audience cheered. Flashbulbs popped endlessly. Shen Yue's performance, her poise, her elegance, captivated everyone. But Dylan's smile never truly reached his eyes. It was carefully measured, almost rehearsed. The crowd couldn't see the conflict. But anyone who had ever loved and lost would have recognized it immediately. After the ceremony, behind the stage, whispers began circulating among staff and fans who had lingered near the backstage monitors. They spoke of Dylan's behavior, his brief hesitation before entering the group photo, the way his gaze kept returning to Shen Yue even when he attempted to focus elsewhere, the subtle tension in his posture. There was a story unfolding quietly, silently, in real time. Shen Yue, for her part, had noticed too. It was impossible not to. He was careful, subtle, but the attention, the quiet intensity, lingered even in the most fleeting moments. She knew that look, Dylan's look, from all the years they had worked together. It was the kind of gaze that communicated everything without speaking a word. Admiration, longing, regret, and perhaps an unspoken apology for the things neither of them could change. Fans began posting side-by-side comparisons. Dylan's expressions from past award shows, past behind-the-scenes footage, and tonight's summit. "Look at him," one fan wrote. "He's smiling, but it's not happiness. It's something else. Something heavier." Another added, "He's pretending for the cameras, but Shen Yue knows. You can see it in her eyes too." And they were right. Because love under the spotlight is never simple. It is never just about affection or shared history. It's about managing perception, expectation, and the unrelenting weight of scrutiny. Dylan Wang's smile that night was not just a mask. It was survival. A way to endure seeing the woman he cared for succeed while grappling with the complexity of his own emotions. Shen Yue walked off stage later that evening, award in hand, glowing and radiant for the fans and the world. But in the quiet hallways behind the cameras, away from the applause, the lights, and the recording devices, the air was thick with what was left unsaid. Dylan remained on stage, adjusting his tie, composing himself as if nothing had occurred. But inside, every heartbeat echoed the weight of their shared past. Every laugh, every subtle movement of hers, replayed memories he had tried to bury. Memories of late-night script rehearsals, private conversations between takes, and moments when the world didn't exist but only they did. The summit concluded, and the cameras turned elsewhere. But the story between Dylan Wang and Shen Yue continued silently, invisibly, in the spaces no lens could capture. A smile that hid more than it revealed. A glance that carried the weight of years. A presence that spoke louder than words. Social media debates raged on. Was Dylan jealous? Concerned? Regretful? Fans dissected every second of footage, every smile, every subtle flick of the eyes. But speculation could never grasp the truth. Because the truth was in the quiet, in the invisible dialogue, in the private emotions that fame could never record. It was not hate. It was not indifference. It was love, tempered by circumstance. It was care, tangled with restraint. It was history, longing, and the aching awareness that some connections remain unfulfilled, even under the brightest lights. And perhaps that's what made it all the more powerful. The cameras captured a smile. The audience saw applause. But the weight behind that smile, the history, the memories, the unspoken words, remained hidden, sacred, untouchable. In the days following the summit, clips of Dylan's forced smile went viral. Some called it scandalous. Some called it mysterious. Some simply admired the raw humanity behind the performance. Those who knew